Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray. We talk every Saturday morning. This is show number 494 in our 19th year. Coming up on show 500. And Frank Barton, you're going to have to be a part of that show in 6 weeks. Okay, Frank? I'm going to work it out. It's I think it's Halloween, Frank. So we can all dress up. You've been a part of this show, Frank, and I appreciate you putting up with me for these years.
I've enjoyed it, Larry. Thank you.
I know it, and I can't wait to hunt this year with you, at least, so we'll find out. We got a guy on the line with us right now. All of us know from his career, mostly we know from the FLW, but where he was, 3 or 4 time Angler of the Year, won so many tournaments, topped, if I'm not mistaken, in the money 63 times out of 109 tournaments at one time or another. And then last year he went over to BASS in the Elite Series at the age of 53. And I'm not going to age him now. It's a year later. Everybody can figure that up. But Clark Wendlendt, congratulations, buddy, on what you've been doing. I know you've brought a little bit of enthusiasm into this, whipping these young guys. So,
well, listen, guys, I sure appreciate you having me, and yeah, it's been fun. I mean, I've kind of got a little bit of rejuvenation going myself. When you're in your 30s, and at least for me, I had kids, and the kids were, they become your focus, and
yes,
they got extracurricular activities, but right now I'm pretty well focused just on fishing and enjoying it.
Well, I mean, in 92, and that wasn't 1892. Some people may think for Clark, but 1992, he's been a professional. And you think about that, how many casts you've made, how many times you've had to get your body ready. I don't think people realize, Clark, talk about the preparation, because people just don't realize the life of a professional fisherman is not easy to begin with on the road, but also the physical side. How have you kept your body like this to be plugging along?
Well, that's a good question. I do have a few little minor health concerns, and it's I just stay as fit as I can.
Tell him, Clark, you're diabetic. Okay.
I'm a diabetic. I've had a heart attack.
Okay, that's
I'm
what.
not like in really, like a picture of perfect health. But
no, but you're a diabetic and a heart attack, and you're still going at 54. So
I'm still going, but you know what? Here's the thing. I love what I do.
Yes.
I enjoy getting out there. I'm looking forward to getting out there, and what I really enjoy about it is just figuring out, a lake when I get there, whatever the situation is, whether it be way down south or way up north, it doesn't matter to me. Somewhere in between, I just like figuring out, kind of putting that puzzle together and coming up with the best game plan I can.
And the decision to move over to the BASS, 22 years FLW, really good to you, buddy. I mean, a lot of great success about that decision.
Well, that I actually started with BASS years ago. I won the Redman All-American in 1992, and
yes.
that kind of springboarded my career. And then I started fishing bass, and then when FLW came along, I fished them both. And then due to some sponsor conflicts, ended up going FLW for a number of years, and then now coming back to the Elites. I think the Elites has probably, career-wise, been probably the best decision I've made. And the reason is it really feels good over there right now.
Yes.
There's a lot of positive energy. Of course, I'm fishing well, so that makes things a lot better.
Yes.
But the fact that those tournaments, we're only fishing 85 guys, and so whether you're on a big body of water or a little body of water, it doesn't really matter. There's enough room to get around, and you're not always watching what the other anglers are doing. They're not always making you make decisions. And so from that standpoint, I've really enjoyed it.
And I know that I've heard you say hey, you are first in the angler year points, right? I mean,
Correct.
But you don't. I looked back and I saw 44th last year in angler points, 3 top 10 finishes this year, a 16 and a 46. You're not thinking about it? Is it not crossing your mind what this would mean for you? Or are you trying to be level-headed like I know you are?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've won Angler of the Years over at FLW, and so what I realize is, there's not all that many points separating you going into the last event. Now at this point and at the last event, there's not going to be very many points. So what it's going to take is it going to take the best you can do in every tournament.
Yes.
And
yeah.
so, it's a unique award to win because it really rewards consistency,
Yes.
but not just consistency like what I'm talking about, middle of the pack consistency. It rewards consistency at really, really performing well in each event. And we still got a long way to go, but I'm excited because I've had a good year so far.
There's a lot of young folks behind you, okay? I mean, the whippersnappers are back there. They're biting at your heels right now, so to speak. But you've said, and I've watched, my good friend Brian Brasher wrote a real interesting story about you that I've read. Brian followed me here in Memphis as the outdoor editor of the local newspaper, and I think a lot of Brian Brasher is a writer. And he said that he quoted you that you've got to have staying power. You have to have the drive to want to do well all the time. There's got to be days that you just don't have that. So how do you mentally prepare for this, Clark, as you go through about something that you've been doing for almost 30 years?
Yeah, I mean, there is days, but what happens, I think, is it's more like, periods of time. Like in a long career, I kind of mean, just like years where, gosh, you'd love to be at home with your family, or you'd like to be you got a project working at home. But right now, I got nothing that holds me back from putting every bit of my focus on fishing. And I'm just enjoying it. I'm liking doing it. And COVID was it came along, it stopped our season, right there in early March. And, from probably one of the things that has helped me the most along those lines is the fact that I just got to go fishing a lot. And to me, time on the water, you just can't beat that.
Yeah, we're talking to Clark Wendlendt out of Leander, Texas. And I know your family, you mentioned that many times. Your wife Paula, your 2 kids now are grown, I'm assuming, and you have a chance to fish a lot. So talk about how you ready for what's ahead. I mean, are you taking them one at a time? You can't really look ahead past that because the competition's so tough. And I'd like to ask you about the evolution of the sport itself. I don't want to make you really feel old. I mean, I could call Larry Nixon or Guy Eaker if I want to talk old folks, but talk about that, the electronics and things along this line that have maybe extended a lot of people's careers.
Yeah, that's a real interesting, the evolution of the sport of bass fishing has, I've known a lot of the guys that, preceded me. And, Rick Clunn, he's
yes.
still out there right now. He's still fishing.
He's still going. Yeah. He doesn't know how old he is. He doesn't know how old he is and doesn't care. So
he probably doesn't.
Yeah.
But, he was kind of my fishing idol. When I look at somebody in the sport that I look up to. And,
yes.
And what I mean by that is just as far as his fishing and his ability.
Yeah.
Rick Clunn is that guy. And when I was a kid and I dreamed about doing it, I looked up to Rick Clunn. Rick Clunn, he quit a career at whatever he was doing and he went and became a professional bass fisherman. He's still doing it.
He's still doing it. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That's one of those things that, hopefully guys will look at me. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. There's not really many times when I just say, I'd really rather not go today. I like going. I mean, that's when I wake up, I'm ready to go.
And what's next for you? What's next?
I'm sorry?
What's next for you? What's coming up?
Well, our next tournament is Lake Gunnersville. We fish there in northern Alabama.
Yes.
We fish, and then we got 3 back-to-back there, South Carolina, Santee Cooper, and Tennessee, Lake Chickamauga. And so those are the next 3 events.
A lot of stuff still left out there. Clark, we appreciate you being on Outdoors with Larry Ray, buddy. Congratulations on your career itself, and I don't believe in luck here on this show, and we've had a lot of the great champions with the show. The popularity now on TV is unbelievable as far as the focus. We got more people fishing than we ever had, and I respect you as being one of those ambassadors that have led a lot of folks, young folks, back into the sport. So keep it up, man. Okay?
Well, guys, thanks for having me. I appreciate it, and maybe we can do it again after I win the whole thing.
Hey, I'm writing it down right now. Clark, I got you. Okay, buddy. All right. Thank you. Have a great weekend. All right?
Take care.
Thank you. All right. Clark Wendlendt. Frank, when you hear somebody like that, I know 54 doesn't sound old, but in a sport that 25s and 30s are winning, we appreciate Clark's enthusiasm. And a fisherman, is almost like a duck hunter. They're always optimistic, right?
I would think it'd be exactly like a duck hunter when it comes to that.
Could you feel optimism in his voice? Could you feel optimism in his voice?
Absolutely.
Is that not so you've had your teal season? I got to throw this in there before we take a break. I won't talk some more. The teal season, you got to participate. You're going again this morning as soon as we get through here. Great weather where the birds are there. I'm really optimistic this year. I mean, more optimistic than I normally am. You know it? I may buy my license Monday. I just feel that urge coming along. Should I feel?
That'd be good. I look forward to you coming with me.
Yeah. Well, I will.
And
I got to.
We're making all of our preparations, and teal season's a little bit. As I told somebody, one of the best things I like about teal season is I get to find out real early if my boots leak before it gets too cold.
You told me that.
Go back out there.
Yeah, you told me that. Yeah. Well, I think when we talked to our next guest, we would have talked to him about that, because if anybody knows about boots and things like that, it's Will Fowler with Frog Talks. So me and Frank going to take a break here. We'll be right back, and we're going to Arab, Alabama, and talk to the main man at Frog Talks, Will Fowler, on Outdoors with Larry Ray. We'll be right back.